Stagflation is when your bills go up, while your chances of getting a raise, keeping your job, or finding a better one go down. That is the nightmare. Normal inflation is painful. Stagflation is inflation with the exits blocked. Imagine walking into a supermarket and realizing your usual basket costs way more than last month. Then you check your electricity bill. Also higher. Rent, higher. Fuel, higher. So you think, fine, I'll work more. I'll ask for a raise. I'll switch jobs. But then the economy says, actually, companies are cutting hours, freezing hiring, and laying people off. That is stagflation. It is not just things are expensive. It is things are expensive at the exact moment people have less power to earn more money. And here is what makes it especially dangerous. The usual medicine for inflation can make unemployment worse, but the usual medicine for unemployment can make inflation worse. So policymakers are stuck choosing which kind of pain to increase. For ordinary people, stagflation feels like being squeezed from both sides. Your cost of living rises while your income becomes less secure. That is why economists fear it so much. Today we are talking about stagflation. What it is, why it happens, why it is so hard to fix, and why it can be one of the worst economic situations for ordinary people. Stagflation combines two problems: stagnation and inflation. Stagnation means the economy is weak, slow, or barely growing. Inflation means prices are rising. Usually, these two do not arrive together, but when they do, it creates a very uncomfortable situation for everyone. In a normal growing economy, people spend money, businesses sell more, companies hire workers, and wages may rise. In a recession, the economy slows down and prices may stop rising as quickly because fewer people have money to spend. Stagflation mixes the bad parts of both without the good parts of either. Prices rise like in an inflationary boom, but jobs and growth weaken like in a recession. The economy is not hot in a healthy way. It is more like a car overheating while also refusing to move. Stagflation often begins with a supply shock. A supply shock means something important becomes harder or more expensive to produce or deliver. A classic example is energy. If oil, gas, or electricity becomes much more expensive, businesses face higher costs almost immediately. A delivery company pays more for fuel. A factory pays more for power. A farm pays more for transport and fertilizer. Those businesses may raise prices to survive, but higher costs can also force them to cut investment, reduce hiring, or lay off workers. So prices rise, while economic activity slows. Both problems arrive together. Another factor is inflation expectations. If people and businesses expect prices to keep rising, they behave differently before prices have even gone up. Workers ask for higher wages in advance. Businesses raise prices early. Suppliers adjust contracts upward. This can create a cycle where inflation becomes harder to stop. Stagflation can also be worsened by policy mistakes. If governments stimulate the economy too much when supply is limited, they push demand higher without increasing actual production. More money chasing the same goods means prices rise further. The most famous example of stagflation happened in the 1970s. Many advanced economies faced high inflation, weak growth, and rising unemployment at the same time. Oil shocks played a major role. When energy prices jumped, the cost of producing and transporting goods increased across the entire economy. Energy is not just what goes into cars. It is involved in shipping, farming, manufacturing, heating, and countless supply chains. When energy gets expensive, it pushes costs up almost everywhere. The 1970s also showed why stagflation was so surprising. Many economists had assumed that high unemployment came with lower inflation, and high inflation came with lower unemployment. Stagflation broke that neat story. It showed that both problems could arrive at the same time, and that existing policy tools were not built to handle the combination. Stagflation is difficult to fix because the standard tools pull in opposite directions. To fight inflation, central banks raise interest rates. Higher rates slow spending and cool prices, but if the economy is already weak, higher rates can slow it down even further. Businesses invest less. Consumers spend less. Unemployment rises. To fight unemployment, governments may increase spending or cut taxes. But if inflation is already high, adding more demand can push prices higher still. This is why stagflation is such a policy trap. Every tool seems to help one problem while making the other worse. It is like trying to fix a leaking boat by drilling a hole on the other side to balance things out. Technically creative. Emotionally concerning. For ordinary people, stagflation shows up directly in daily life. Groceries become more expensive. Rent becomes harder to afford. Utility bills take up more of the monthly budget. At the same time, job security weakens. Raises may not keep up with inflation. Small businesses struggle because customers cut back, but costs keep rising. Savings also lose purchasing power. A household may have the same amount of money in the bank, but that money buys noticeably less than before. Debt becomes more stressful too. If interest rates rise to fight inflation, mortgages, credit cards, and business loans all become more expensive. This is why stagflation hits confidence so hard. People do not just feel poorer today. They feel less certain about tomorrow. And when many people feel that way at the same time, the economy can slow even further. So to summarize, inflation is when prices rise. Stagnation is when the economy slows. Stagflation is when both happen together, about as welcome as discovering your umbrella is on fire during a rainstorm. It squeezes ordinary people from both directions. Living costs rise, but incomes and job security may not keep up. And it is difficult to fix because every available tool seems to make one part of the problem worse. Basically, the economy looks at the public and says, "Good news, your money buys less. Bad news, earning more of it may also be harder." And that is when even the stickman starts checking whether hiding under the couch counts as a financial strategy. Quick reminder, everything in this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. See you in the next one.